All right, guys. I think I said the last time I did this that I don't often do this, and so maybe I do this a little bit more often than I think. I want to talk with you again about another one of my favorite Football Manager editor data files. This time it's the infamous Legends of the Beautiful Game file, which is created by a very nice person from, I believe, Malaysia, who I've talked with from time to time on Twitter. It's taken a lot longer this year than it had in previous years for him to come out with this, and it's actually not 100% complete at the moment of the filming of this video. By the time you see this, it will probably actually be complete, but it's complete enough for us to take a look at it. So I've gone into the game. I've started up a new save. We're not going to actually play through anything in this particular save. We're just going to sort of see what happens. I've chosen Manchester City for reasons unknown because they actually don't have any of these fantastic players. But if we look at, say, Manchester United, and let's see if this comes up. Apparently it doesn't. Well, let's see what we can do here. We'll go over here to Competitions Premier League, and then we can find Man UFC. That's the reason why, because I didn't put the name change on. We go over here and look at their senior squad. This is where you will start seeing the legendary players. So the way this works is there's a whole bunch of legendary players for each team that they played for in real life who come into the game. They come in as wonder kids. They come in young. Their age is determined by how many years or how many decades ago they played. So, for example, here's George Best, who in game is 21. You can see there's that wonderful looking picture of George Best, and he plays as a attacking left winger. And of course has absolutely incredible stats, and is worth like 264 million euros. You can look here again if you want Giggs. Here's Giggs, who is 19. Also plays there on that left side. He's valued at about 134 million. Pretty good for a 19-year-old wonder kid. And I wonder if we look over here. Yes, media description, wonder kid. So if you play with this, you get to play with these players throughout their entire career. Here's Ronaldo. Only 126 million. What a bargain. There are other great players as well, of course, not just English players. So we can find Pele, for example, do a little search for him and find him here. 22 years old, Brazilian playing down in Brazil, a striker worth 271 million. Yeah, it's going to probably cost quite a bit of money to buy him with the model citizen personality, with excellent attributes, and he can, of course, only really improve from here since he is only 22. So, I mean, that's that's kind of the way that it is with this type of save. Now, this can be a lot of fun if you take, this editor data file and you throw this into like a normal project, normal save with a team, provided that you have the money to buy these players. You might not have the money. It depends upon kind of what's going on, right? So, of course, it's not much fun to play with a major save using some of the best players in the world if you can't have them on your team. But as long as you have the money to splash, you can go and get Maradona from Argentino Juniors, and you can get him over to play for your team. And he'll cost you like 174 million euro. And then you get what is undoubtedly one of the best, if not the best players in the game, and on it goes. Now, this particular version of the Legends of the Beautiful Game does not come with a shortlist, unfortunately. There were shortlists before in which these guys were all identified by their ID numbers. I mean, you can find the ID number, you can look and figure it out from the photo and stuff like that. This version doesn't have the shortlist. I'm not sure if it's because it's come out so late that he just feels that there's not time to make the shortlist, or if it's because this version is incomplete. What that means, though, is it's not quite as easy to find these guys, but that kind of adds to the fun, too, right? You send your scouts out around to, to like Germany or something, and then see what you can find out there. So if we go look over here at FC Bayern München, which should come up. There we go, FC Bayern. We'll probably, as we look around things, we'll probably come up with, a couple players here and there like Beckenbauer, who you can get actually for kind of a bargain. That's not too bad for a defensive midfielder who is an incredible player. And so that's the sort of thing that you can do as you move through this. As long as you have a team that's high up and as long as you have the money to do it, you can put together like your own dream all-star team filled with, some of the greatest players of all time. Thomas Müller here will be your striker. Man, his worth is like nothing for a kid who's going to be absolutely incredible. Anyway, this is kind of the fun of this, right? Now, I've played with this before. I've played with this in other versions of FM, and I can tell you that one of the issues that you run into if you do use this and you're using like a squad that's lower down in the leagues, is that you're going to end up never being able to get any of these players to play for you. There are balance issues that come up when you use this sort of database. As nicely as this one is put together, if your team doesn't have any of these incredible wonder kids that are like the best players in the game, you're going to get to a point where you just simply can't win because the players that come stock are just not good enough to compete. And you can go and get some new gens and hope that they're going to be this good, but it's going to take you forever, right? And by that time, chances are most of these guys are going to be retired anyway. So keep that in mind, right? What I'm saying with this is that if you're going to do like your, start up from the north-south leagues in England and move your way up the ladder, you probably don't want to do this because you're going to get to the championship and you're going to get absolutely hammered every single time, right? But if you think, hey, I want to do a save as like PSG, or I want to do a save as, Manchester City, Manchester United, a team with a lot of money to spend and a team that has a lot of income coming in, then yeah, I would do this, right? You can easily make some roster moves. You can free up enough money to get some more of these big players, and you can set it up so that, you can put together your own all-star team of, your favorite players or the greatest players of all time and see how they would do against other overpowered teams. So there is a time and a place for it. I think it's a lot of fun to play around with. I think it's a lot of fun to sort of poke around with and to come up with stuff. So the other cool thing, of course, is that if you really can't find guys, you can always go look at some of the national teams, because sort of by default, some of these guys will be good enough to end up on national teams. Now, I don't know Italian football very well, but I know that Paolo Maldini, for example, is going to be playing in the back for Italy and for Milan, and he's probably worth every single penny of this. So, I mean, that gets you an idea of what's going on. There are players, if we go back to Manchester City, Manchester UFC, wherever you are, there you are. There are players who have their ongoing transfers and things like already prearranged, right? So if you look through this, you will find players like David Beckham. He's out on loan, right? He will come back to Manchester United until, I don't know, what are the details of this? So he'll come back in June 2023. So after one season, he'll come back from Preston, and then you can play with him and see how good Beckham got. There's a lot of that going on. There are a bunch of players also who have transfers that are prearranged. If we go back to, I think it's Maradona, I think is a good example of this, who will have a team that he prefers to play for, I believe. Has a preference to play for Parthenope. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly or not, over in Italy. And so you'll see stuff like that happen. You can see here as well, there are legendary managers in the game too. So, there's all sorts of cool stuff that you can play around with. A lot of cool stuff that you can find out. And the other thing I'll say is that there are some players in this database who are active players in real life who are kind of like taken back to the beginning of their career, like Messi, right? So you get to play with Messi, not old Messi, but young Messi. And you get to sort of see his career as it develops. He also, I think, has a preference. No, he starts off with Barcelona. That's right. He's with Barcelona the whole time. But anyway, so there you go. That's sort of what it's like. Imagine that. I mean, just being able to pop yourself into a game and start off and go and buy Messi at 17 years old for 170 million euros. Sounds like a lot of fun to me. It sounds like an interesting project. And what I really believe is that this would fit into a whole bunch of other projects that you may or may not already have going or have in mind. So it's something to keep in mind. I will put the link to the database in the description down below, so you can go check it out. I really, really recommend sort of playing around with this. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. As long as you're not trying to do like a lower league to legend type save, as long as you're playing with the big boy teams, you're going to find that it's like almost totally addictive gameplay. So there you go. And I will talk with you again later. Hope you have a good day. Bye.